Hey there, welcome back to Tip Talks Cooking. Today we are talking keto Texas chili, my friend. You heard me right, keto Texas chili. And this is my entry in the great chili confrontation from Josh and Babe's channel. And so here we go. I think you're going to love this recipe. My whole idea is to make a great Texas classic chili, keto style, and serve that up to you pretty fast because we're going to do it in the Instant Pot. Check it out. Let's get started. Here are the ingredients you'll need to make this incredible dish. Now, I did a little research in the past couple of days about Texas chili, real authentic Texas chili, and there is some disagreement as to what goes in and what doesn't go into a Texas chili, but everybody pretty much agrees that it starts off with chunks of beef that are cut in about a 3/4 inch dice, and that's what I've done here. This is some chuck that I've trimmed the fat off of mostly and cut it up into this nice dice. This is 2 pounds of meat, or about a kilo. Actually, this is about exactly a kilo of meat here. 2 pounds is good. Get anywhere around there. You don't have to be exact with it. I'm going to brown that up in the fat from these 6 slices of thickly cut bacon. Onion is one of the ingredients of controversy in keto as well for people who are on really strict keto. Now, it does have a few carbs, very few, because of course this is going to serve at least 4 to 6. I'm thinking more like 6 people. I've got half of a red onion that I cut into a small dice, as well as 6 big fat cloves of garlic that I've minced. If you want to use less garlic, please do that. We like a lot of garlic, and we're going to cook this in the Instant Pot, so I really want nice big garlic flavor. You're also going to need a 1.5 teaspoons of toasted ground cumin. What I do is I take whole cumin seeds and I put them in a dry skillet over medium-high heat until they start to pop, turn them off, grind them in my spice grinder, and I put them in a little bottle that I keep them in. It's really a delicious way to use cumin, and it makes the cumin flavor just explode. I recommend you try it. You're also going to want 2 tablespoons of some kind of sweetener. This is erythritol, and it's the equivalent in sweetness of 2 tablespoons of sugar. You use whatever sweetener that you like. I've got 2 tablespoons as well of white vinegar, 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum that we're going to use instead of masa harina to thicken it up at the end, kosher salt, freshly ground black pepper. Here's the star of the show right here. I've got 2 ounces, and I weighed them. These are guajillo chilies. You could use New Mexico dried chilies or pasilla chilies or even ancho chilies. I think ancho chilies are really good for this. I'm going to show you how to deal with those in a minute. I've got 2 cups of beef bone broth. This is really the great ingredient you want to use here. Nice keto ingredient, lots of protein, really delicious. And that's pretty much it. We're also going to need 2 cups or so of water to soften our chilies in. And you'll see how we put this together. It seems like a lot of ingredients. Not really that hard. I'm going to show you step by step. First, toast your chilies in a nice hot skillet. This skillet I heated up for about 3 minutes over medium-high heat, and then I put my chilies in. It's been about a minute or so, and I can already smell the wonderful fragrance of these chilies toasting. We don't want them to burn. We want to be pretty careful here. I'm going to let them go for about another minute, and then I'm going to turn them over, and we're going to get them out of there and get them into a bowl and soak them in hot water. Here I've turned them, and you can see some of them are a little charred. We don't want them burned, but that's good. That's going to add a smoky flavor to our sauce. When they're done toasting, remove them to a big bowl. Next, we're going to take some very hot water. This isn't boiling really, but just about. And I'm just going to pour it over the chilies. They're floating now, but they'll start to absorb the water, and they'll sink fairly soon. We're going to cover this and let them soak for 30 to 45 minutes, as long as an hour. While we wait, let's make the meat mixture. It starts off by frying up some thickly sliced bacon. My pan's still a little hot from toasting the peppers, the chilies. That's all right. I'll turn the heat down. I think bacon is best cooked over kind of a moderate heat. We're going to render the fat of this bacon and cook the beef in it. If your bacon sticks like mine is doing, that's actually a good thing. Notice here I'm not using a non-stick skillet. I'm using a stainless steel skillet because I want some of that fond on the bottom, those brown bits that are so tasty on the bottom of this. So, and I'm going to make bacon bits out of this bacon anyway, so it doesn't matter that it's not in nice pretty strips here. Now, of course, it's rendering in a fat. It won't stick to the bottom, but we've got a really good start here. Now you can see here that my bacon is nice and done. I'm going to get it out of the pan. My oil is smoking, so I'm going to move fast to get my beef in here. And here we go. It's okay if we get an onion or two in there. Best to use your hands sometimes. There we go. You see that's frying right up. This is actually over medium heat right now. So I can get an onion or two in there. Ain't no big thing. Sizzling away, as you can see, this is exactly what we want. We want to brown this meat. And I'm using this skillet instead of the Instant Pot, again, because it's bigger, has more surface. The meat is less crowded here, and it's going to brown better. I'm also going to season it generously with salt and freshly ground black pepper, of course. I'm going to turn the heat up to medium-high because we want to let that develop a little bit of a crust. I'm going to let this go for at least 2 minutes before I touch it. It's been 2 minutes now, and now I'm going to stir them around a little bit. Again, we just want to get a little color on them and get them out of there. We don't want to cook them through. They're going to be pretty tough right now anyway. They really need a little pressure cooking to become the delicious thing that we're looking for. Look at that. You can see a little browning going on there. I've just drained the water off of these. These have been soaking for about 40 minutes, and I can feel there's still water in there. We want to get rid of these stems. We also want to discard the seeds inside. So I'm going to cut down here, and I'm just going to remove the seeds and the veins that pull out with them, just like that. Once our chilies are cleaned and softened, we're going to put them in our blender. I'm going to add in the cumin, some salt, probably about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt, freshly ground black pepper, of course. And I'm also going to add in some of the bone broth, probably about 1/2 cup or so. And then we're just going to put the lid on and give it a nice whoosh. We want to liquefy this. Our goal here is to liquefy this and make it into a puree, and then we're going to strain it to get some of the solid. As you do this, you'll want to stop once in a while and scrape down the carafe of your mixer. Oh boy, that looks good. It smells great. And you want to blend it really very smoothly. You can see, I think that it's a paste-like mixture here, and that's really nice. I want it to be very smooth because the skin of the pepper has a lot of cellulose in it. We want to break that down as small as we can so we don't really even notice it in our sauce. I'm going to add just a little bit more bone broth and give this another whirl. To make sure we get out any undesirable particles or seeds or whatever, I'm going to pass this through a fine mesh strainer just to make sure. That'll take a minute, but it's an extra step that is really worth taking. It's going to improve the texture of the chili. In the end, I'm left with about this much solid material that I can't pass through the sieve, and so that's going into the compost. Now on to our next step. I've set my Instant Pot to saute, and I've been heating up the oil in the bottom here for just a few minutes. Now we're going to put our onions in there. We've got a little sizzle going on. I'm going to use the onions to flavor the oil. And we're going to wait until they're pretty much translucent until we add the garlic and the rest of the ingredients. So I'm going to give them a stir and let them go. This is going to take 3 to 5 minutes. Now that our onions have begun to soften, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt, some black pepper, and the rest of the ingredients. Here we're going to add in our garlic. It'll be just a moment once we stir it in before we smell the lovely aroma of garlic cooking. Oh yeah, there it is already. And pretty much everything else goes in here. Here I've got the meat that we partially cooked with its juices and the bacon fat, all of it. This is a low-carb, high-fat dish, and so we want that bacon fat in there. It's going to be delicious too. I'm also going to add in the bone broth, the rest of it. There we go. The vinegar. The erythritol, or whatever sweetener you're going to use. Here we go. And then our chili paste. In it goes. Now, you want to read your manufacturer's directions for using your Instant Pot, but for mine, what I'm going to do next, well, first I'm going to stir this up, of course. Give it a stir. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? I can tell you, it smells great. It really has a wonderful, wonderful odor of the vinegar and the chilies there. It's just a knockout. Oh, this is going to be so great. All right. Next, here's what we do. I'm going to set it to the stew or meat setting for 30 minutes. And you know it's going to take longer than 30 minutes. You set it, it's going to get hot, build up the pressure. Of course, you're going to set it to seal as opposed to vent. Build up the pressure. Once it gets to the pressure, the timer will come on and count backwards from 30 minutes. Okay, and now we're going to let the pressure return to that of the room by turning this off, and we're just going to let that descend normally. We're not going to turn it to venting and let all that pressure out right away. Just let the pressure descend on its own. This could take up to about a half an hour. It's been 30 minutes now, and we can turn the knob here from sealing to venting, and you can see that there's no hissing, there's no pressure difference, so now it's safe to take the lid off. And let's have a look. I'm dying to see. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. That is just beautiful. Let me give it a stir just so you can see. Oh yeah, that's lovely. Now, our next job is going to be to thicken this sauce. So I'm going to turn the Instant Pot back on with the saute button so it can heat back up. And here I'm going to add our 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Oh, see there, it's on again. We're just going to sprinkle this kind of over the top everywhere. It's not going to thicken it right away. And in the end, we really might have to add just a little bit more too. But I find with xanthan gum, it takes a little heat and a little patience. We're going to let this go. We may also want to reduce some of the liquid here. And here we have it. I'm just going to spoon a little bit of it into this bowl. And look at that rich, lovely, thick gravy. That is a beautiful bowl of authentic Texas chili. Let's have a taste. Well, all right, let's give it a taste. Oh, it looks so good. Oh. Wow. You are going to love this chili. It's not really super spicy. It has a bite in the background, but the chili flavors from the guajillo chile and the other ingredients, really complex, really savory and delicious. I'm not sure it's like any other chili I've ever had, and it's delicious. I'm definitely making this again. Listen, before we go, I want to thank Josh and Babe for organizing this great chili confrontation. So much fun to participate in it with my buds, and we'll be back. I can't wait to see the other entries. Thanks for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking. We'll catch you next time.